Welcome. We're in the middle of Test Amud Aleph 9a. But then the Gemara gets into some very interesting discussions about what happened before we left Mitzrayim and as we left Mitzrayim. Some fascinating concepts here. But let's first figure out what the timing is till when we could finish eating the Korban Pesach on the night of Pesach. So the Mishnah that we started our Masechta with spoke about saying Shema, that you have until midnight. But after we figured out, we brought the different opinions till when you could say the evening Shema, till the first end of the first watch, or till midnight, or till morning, we said that when it comes to bringing the offerings of Karbonis, which you have to bring part of it before, sprinkle the blood before it gets dark, or as it gets dark. But the burning, before it gets dark, but the burning of it, the fats, the hard fats that were burnt on the Mizbeach and other parts of the animal, depending on the carbon that were offered, they continue burning. How long do you have to burn them? So you also have until the morning to do it. All night it could burn. So the Gemara tells us that in that Mishnah that speaks about Karbanes, it doesn't say about the Korban Pesach that you have till the morning, which implies that you only have till midnight to finish the Korban Pesach. What it says, I could find you a contradiction to our Mishnah, because there's a brisa that says, Kriya Shema Arvis, the evening Shema, the Hallel b'leilei Pesachim, and we say Hallel by the Seder, so the Hallel by the nights of Pesach, the Achilas Pesach, and the eating of the Korban Pesach, Mitzvasan Ad She'ala Mod HaShachar. That brisa says you have till the morning. So our Mishnah seems to imply you only have till midnight, because it does not include Pesach in the Karbanis that you have till the morning. And the brisa clearly tells us you do have till the morning. So which one is it? So the Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Yosef answers, like Kasha, this is not a question, it's not a contradiction. Because there are two different authors. The Mishnah has one, and the Brisa has someone else. Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah, Rabbi Akiva. The Mishnah is talking about Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah's opinion, who says, indeed, you only have till midnight. But the Brisa is according to Rabbi Akiva. His opinion is you have till the morning to eat the Korban Pesach. Tanya, there's nothing in the Brisa. How do we know that's Rabbi Akiva's opinion? Because the pasuk says, "V'achlu as habasar b'layla hazeh." You have to eat the meat of the Korban Pesach on this night. Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah says, "Nemar kan." The pasuk in Chumash tells us now regarding Korban Pesach, it says, "B'layla hazeh," on this night was the instruction to eat it. The Nemar lahalon, and it says later, when talking exactly what's going to happen when Hashem is going to slay the firstborns of Egypt, it says, "V'avarti b'Mitzrayim b'layla hazeh." I will pass on the night of Mitzrayim. In the land of Mitzrayim on this night. So both of these places say Hazeh, Balayla Hazeh. Ma'ala Chatzais, Afkan Chatzais. Just like the first place, but the second place, when it says that Hashem killed the firstborn, so it says Halayla Hazeh. So when it talks about the Korban Pesach and it says Halayla Hazeh, you should imply or infer that it's the limud is called Gzeira Shava, just like it says Balayla Hazeh by Makas Becheres, killing the firstborn, and it means till midnight. That's when the killing happened, death of the firstborn. Similarly, the deadline of eating the Korban Pesach is also till midnight. That was Rabbi Eliezer opinion. Omar de Rabbi Akiva told Rabbi Eliezer back, it says you should eat the Korban Pesach hastily, in haste, right? Rushed. Ad shas chipazin, which means until the time of haste. What's the time of haste? We left Mitzrayim in a haste, in a rush. When did we leave Mitzrayim? We didn't leave Mitzrayim at midnight. We left Mitzrayim at daybreak. So what happened was we had the Korban Pesach. Then there was the killing of the firstborn, death of the firstborn. And then, killing sounds like we did it, just to clarify. Hashem did it. The death of the firstborn. And then we left by daybreak. So Rabbi Akiva says, it's not about chatzos, it's chipazain. You eat it in haste, which means until the time of haste, which is till the morning. Im Kain, if that's the case, so why does Torah say Balayla Hazeh? Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah just taught us Balayla Hazeh teaches you only have till midnight, just like the death of the firstborn was at midnight. Now you tell me B'chipazin implies that they actually had till the morning, so why does it say Balayla Hazeh? Just to confuse us. So he says no. Yochel, I would have thought, I would think that you could eat the Korban Pesach just like Kodshim, by Yom, which means by day. By a regular carbon, you could eat it. After you shecht it and you offer it, you can start eating from the carbon. A carbon oila, for example, the whole carbon gets off. But other karbanos, you could eat part of it, or you start eating right away after the carbon is brought. It's burning. You could eat. Carbon Pesach, it's not the case. You shech the carbon erev Pesach. You can't start eating until it gets outside. When Pesach starts, then you could eat it. So Balayla Hazeh is excluding not that you have past midnight, not that you have only till midnight, but it's excluding the day before Pesach, erev Pesach. You could eat it only by night and not by day. Fine. So that's how we reconcile. Which one is it? You say, if you learn Bechipazin, which means you only have till midnight, you have till daybreak. So I have to say Balayla Hazeh, you have till midnight. Balayla Hazeh is teaching you that before Shkia. So the Gemara says, Bishlem Rabbi ben Azariah, the Islik Zeda Shava, Itzach Lemichtavei Hazeh. Now let's take apart. We said this referring one pasuk to the other was from the two words Balayla Hazeh and this. So according to Rabbi ben Azariah, I understand why it says Balayla Hazeh, because it wants to teach you that you should compare. Just like Hazeh is midnight, you also only have till midnight to eat the carbon. So it says Balayla Hazeh. But according to Rabbi Akiva, Hi Hazeh my Avdei. Why do you do the word Hazeh? You could have said, I'll come at night and slay the firstborn, or eat the carbon Pesach at night. What's the word Hazeh? It's an extra word. In Chumash, we never have extra words. So the Gemara says, Lemi'ute Laila Acher. It's coming to exclude another night. Sometimes, some karbanis, he's going to explain here what he means. Huda Asa. So I would have thought, Hoyil Pesach Kachim Kalim, Ushlam Kachim Kalim, just like carbon Pesach goes into the category, which is called Kachim Kalim. There's different karbanis that have different restrictions or laws apply to them. We talk about it in davening before the Heidu. But one of the agdaras is that you could have it for 2 nights. You could eat it. It's one night, the next day, and then the night afterwards, or day, night, and day. Yeah, right. So he's saying the word hazeh, according to Akiva, is coming to the mi'uta to exclude. Don't try to come up with a certain way that you could use. They could eat the carbon pesach the next night. It says you can't eat it by day. The Gemara is going to say maybe the day you don't eat it, but you have 2 nights to finish it. It's a whole animal, right? So the first night of Pesach you could eat it. Then you have a day you're not allowed to eat it by day because it says you can't eat it by day. And he's going to say, but the restriction of leaving it over till the morning is the next morning, means the second day of Yom Tov. So the word hazeh is coming to teach you that you can't do that. I would have thought, just like shlamim, sorry, I said 2 nights, it's 2 days. Just like carbon shlamim, you could eat it for 2 days and 1 night. The day that you bring it, you could eat it that night, and the next day you have all the way till Shkia to finish it. Especially shlamim, which so you have to eat, you don't offer it on the mizbeach, you eat most of it yourself or with your friends. It takes time to finish it. So I would have said, just like shlamim, you have 2 days and nights to eat it. Carbon Pesach, let's do a similar thing. Af Pesach nechol shtei leilos v'makim b'yamin. Let's say you could eat it for 2 nights and 1 day. That this night you eat it, specifically this night, you can only eat it this night and not the other night. So if you're not going to use the words to teach you that you only have till chatzos, like Rabbi ben Azariah did, why do you need hazeh? You just tell that night. You don't have to say this night. We know what we're talking about. So Rabbi Akiva learns it's going to teach you that you only have 1 night to eat the carbon pesach, and you can't eat it. Try to learn and compare it to other karbanis, which give you 2 days to eat it. Carbon pesach should be the same thing. But hazeh is excluding. You only have 1 night, and excluding the second night. But how does Rabbi ben Azariah learn that? Rabbi Akiva learns it from hazeh, but Rabbi ben Azariah used the word hazeh to tell you only have till chatzos, till midnight to finish it. As Rabbi ben Azariah relates a sidu al-ikar nafta. He learns it simply. It says, don't leave it over till the morning, which means you only have the night to eat it, and in the morning you can't eat the carbon anymore, and obviously the next night you for sure can't eat it. And Akiva says, if you want to tell me that we would learn from that pasuk that says, don't leave over the carbon pesach till the morning, which is Torah's way of saying, eat it right away, eat it tonight. If you want to learn it from there, then have a my baker sheni. I would have said, what does it mean? Don't leave it over till the morning. It means the second morning, second day of Yom Tov, which would work great for 2 sedarim. 1 carbon pesach with 2 nights. But back then they didn't have, in Eretz Yisrael they didn't have 2 nights. But so it was written, they did. But he says if you can't look baker, don't leave it over for the morning, because which morning? It's the second morning. Lezer would answer you, call baker rishonu. Anytime Taylor says baker and doesn't clarify which one, it means the first one. The first available morning, that's what we're talking about. Don't tell me it means next Tuesday. If it meant something else, then tomorrow morning it would have said it. Okay, so that's essentially the machlekes between Rabbi Lezer and Rabbi Akiva, and that's the way we reconcile the stira, the contradiction from our Mishnah, which says you only have till chatzos, and the Brachos says you have till the morning, because it depends which opinion. Rabbi Azariah versus Rabbi Akiva. So it's not a contradiction in itself; it's different opinions. Let's do a few Rashis. Shas chipazein, the time of haste. Shenechbezu latzes, they were in a rush to go out. It's the morning. The Jewish people were commanded on the night of Pesach, don't leave your house till the morning, right? Because Hashem says He's going to kill the firstborn of the Egyptians. You're not allowed to leave your house. So in the morning, that's when they left. Yochel Yehi Nechel, I would think the Korban Pesach could be eaten kishar kodshim, like other kodshim by Yom Shchitase Gederach Teida, just like a thanks offering to Hashem. You eat it the day that you bring it. You don't have to wait till the night. Sha'afi Zman Achilasa Yom Aleph V'Eichel. Day one is after you brought it. You could eat it. V'Heilach Kol Yom Shchitase, the whole day that you shechted it, you could eat it. V'Halayla Ada Beker till the next morning. Kidin Teida D'Chsiv V'Yom Kabanei Yachal. I would say you have it all night, all day, and then the whole following night. But the point here is, I would have said that you could start eating it by day. Once you shechted it, you can start eating it. You don't have to wait till Pesach starts. Just like Shlomim, you could eat it for 2 nights. The first night, the day in between, and the following night. And the day after. I would infer, Af Pesach Nami, that Korban Pesach, you could do the same thing. Because it's not eaten only at night. The Shlomim. Korban Shlomim, you have 2 days and 1 night to eat it. Korban Pesach, you can't eat it by day. Fine, we already established that. So give me 2 nights to eat it. I'll take a break during the day. I'm not going to eat it by day, but I have this time that I could wait, and I'm not considered transgressing. Torah says, don't leave over the Pesach for the next day. That middle day between the 2 nights is okay to leave it over. I would think so. It's Kamash Malon, Ashenis, the second night. So therefore he tells you that no, when I say the night, it means only the night, and you cannot start eating in Korban Pesach, you can't have 2 nights to bring the Korban Pesach. Okay, next piece of Gemara. Now the Gemara says, this machlokas of Tanaim which we just brought, which was Rabbi Lezer ben Azariah and Rabbi Akiva, it's similar to another machlekes. It fits. It's the same machlekes. Tani Tanoi. The Tanya equivalent to the Brisa. Shom tizbach et Pesach ba'erev. It says over there you should shech the Korban Pesach in the evening. Kivay hashemesh me'yetzeischa mitzrayim. So you have here 3 different benchmarks. You have when the sun comes. Ba'erev. You have it in the evening. Then it says Kivay hashemesh. And then Mitzrayim. Evening, sun setting, and when you left Mitzrayim. Which one is it? When should I start eating it? In the morning. So, Kvei Shemesh means before Shkia starts, like late Chatzos. But it doesn't mean the sun comes up, it means when the sun goes down. No, it's actually says it means the they're not equal. But Erev means ki not to slowly Erev, when the rays the evening start to go down. It's after midday. The sun already moved from the top of people. The sun's starting to go down. We can say mid-afternoon. In this context, that's what we're talking about. The sun is starting to go west. Kivaya Shemesh is when it got dark. We argued in the beginning in Amud Beis, or on the Aleph of Beis Amud Aleph, at the very bottom. What does Kivaya Shemesh mean? Shemesh. Correct. Kivaya Shemesh is Mishach HaShecha. And it normally means evening, means nighttime. But in this pasuk, Erev means after midday of Erev Pesach, the sun is starting to go west. It's evening time. It's not morning, it's not noon anymore, it's afternoon. Then you have Kivoya Shemesh, the sun's going down. It's actually getting dark, it's dark outside. And then you have the time that we went out of Mitzrayim, which we just said was the morning. Okay. So if you have such a pasuk, you have three different times. How could all of them? So Rashi says, evening, which means afternoon, is the time for shechting. When it gets dark outside, that's the time to start eating. And the time when you went out of Mitzrayim, which is the morning after the first day of Pesach, that early morning, that's when you have to burn the korban Pesach, which means you're not allowed to be eating any more of the korban. It's considered to be leftovers, which is prohibited biblically. For the time to burning has come. Now, because it happens to be Yontif, and you can't burn the stuff on Yontif, so you wait till the second day of Yontif, which would be Chol Hamoed, and therefore you could burn it then. But that's the way that Rashi's learning, Rabbi Elazar's opinion of the three parts of the night, or the three parts associated with korban Pesach. But let's look inside in the Gemara. So, in the evening you shech, which means after Chatzos. When it gets dark, that's when you eat the korban Pesach, which you already shechted during the day. And the time we went out of Mitzrayim at the same. Now, Rabbi Yeshua argues with Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, and it's a similar machlekes to the one we just had between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. What is it? Rabbi Yeshua Eimer, in the evening you shech, in the afternoon you shecht. At night you start eating. They both agree on that. Till when could you eat? He says no, you could eat until the morning. And here's the machlekes. According to Elazar ben Azariah, the time of eating ends at midnight, but it's not nicer until the morning when you have to burn it. According to Rabbi Yeshua, who is Rabbi Akiva's opinion, you have all the way till the morning to eat it. Not right. But one says the time of burning, and one says till when could you eat it? Burning doesn't mean you could eat it till you burn it. According to Elazar ben Azariah, yes. According to Rabbi Yeshua, no. Okay. But the end result is that this brisa goes like similar to the machlekes that we just said before. Okay, so a few more minutes, we can go to the next piece. Rabbi said, everyone agrees. When the Yidden left Mitzrayim, they only left in the evening. When were they redeemed from Mitzrayim? It was at night. Okay, the redeemed here is the key. But they went out only by day. That from the morrow of Pesach, which means the next morning, that's when they left. So the Mitzrayim, after the death of the firstborn, they came running and they said, "Get out." So they're free to leave. We didn't leave till the morning. So no one argues when we left. Everyone agrees that we left. What are they arguing about? What does it mean when it says chipazin, the time of haste? Elazar ben Azariah holds my chipazin the Mitzrayim. Who is haste over here? The Egyptians were haste. They were in a rush. Get the Jews out of here. We don't want to die. They thought they're next. But Akiva says, eat it in a rush. Who's rushed? Are the Yidden rushed or the Egyptians are rushed? If you say the Egyptians are rushed, then that means the benchmark is till Chatzos, because they were rushed to get in and out right after midnight. If you say it's the rushing of the Yidden, then it's till the morning, because the Yidden left in a rush in the morning. At night, we weren't in a rush. We learned a similar thing in a brisa. The pasuk says that Hashem took you out of Egypt at night. What do you mean they went out at night? They went out by day. Clearly says that the next day you left. So how does Taylor say I took you out at night? We say it in Rabbeinu Thomas too. It wasn't at night. The Geula started, the redemption from Egypt started at night. because they were already told to leave. The Egyptians didn't want them there. They're technically free people. But the practical leaving happened afterwards, in the morning. And if not, then there's no difference. In the morning to burn it doesn't mean you have till the morning to eat it. It means that you have till midnight to finish eating. Hakol Moedim, if Akiva himself holds night is from Chatzais and on. That was the time to send them out of Mitzrayim. But it was the Egyptians chipazim. But me'erev nigalu nitin lahem shus lotzes. They were given permission to leave. So that's technically they were redeemed at night, but they didn't leave till the morning, which everyone agrees on. Chipazim the Mitzrayim akas abichayrim shagel nechmazu lamar l'shalcham. What was the rush of the Egyptians? That's when the firstborn happened, and because of that, they were rushed to send them out, send the Yidden out. It wasn't the Yisrael. They did not listen to the Egyptians to leave until the morning, because Hashem said, "Don't leave your house till the morning." So they waited those few extra times.